Conference USA action right here on the American Sports Network. Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky are in town looking to knock off the Conference USA leading Blue Raiders. They sit atop of the conference, undefeated in conference play to today. Welcome into the ASN pregame report alongside our college basketball analyst Oliver Purnell. I'm Monica McNutt, coach. And the Blue Raiders, undefeated in conference play. At this point, it's still very early. How important is it maybe for Western Kentucky to get some confidence and take this team to the end?
Well, I think that's exactly right. They need to get off to a good start. They're a capable team. They've proven that early in conference play, but they've been inconsistent. Justin Johnson, obviously a big barometer on how they play, does a bunch of everything for them, but he has some help as well. Now, as we go to Middle Tennessee, they're just having an outstanding season, 14-3, 4-0 in league. It's a great shooting team. Ja'Cory Williams comes into their program and fits right in as their leading scorer, and he's got a lot of help. They're plus 10 on the boards. That's outstanding, and that's one of the reasons they're the #1 team in the league right now.
That's a big stat. Kermit Davis has his guys crashing the glass like nobody's business. No secret about this Blue Raider squad considering what they were able to do last year. Let's get you out to Murphy Arena, the Murphy Center, where Dave and Damon have the call. See you back here at halftime.
ASN welcome to inside the Murphy Center, the home of the only unbeaten team in conference play in Conference USA. Middle Tennessee with a big test tonight against Western Kentucky, and we are glad you are aboard for it as well as we welcome you to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, alongside the coach Mike Jarvis. I'm Bernie Gunther, and Coach, take a look at what Middle Tennessee has put together early on. Some really big wins. They built quite a resume and a chance to really add to that tonight against perennial power Western Kentucky.
Well, they want to repeat. They want to go back to the NCAA. They want to get a chance to beat another team like Michigan State again this year. And this year, the way they're playing, they're going to have a shot at an at-large bid as well.
Well, the struggles for Western Kentucky, it's been guard play, but Pancake Thomas, he's done a much better job taking care of the basketball the last 8 games, as well as he scored in double figures the last 8 times out as well.
Well, he's an all-around player, and yes, he's going to have to not only score and rebound, but he's also going to have to handle that ball and handle it well against the Middle Tennessee 1-3-1 half-court trap.
And the Hilltoppers are going to somehow try to stop the three-headed monster. Giddy Potts, Ja'Cory Williams, and Reggie Upshaw for the Blue Raiders. And you think about Upshaw, he scored just 5 points his last time out against Marshall, but he can hurt you so many ways.
He can, and in fact, if I was the opposing coach, I'd really be worried about the fact that he only got 5 the other night, because he's a double guy. So Reggie knows how to do one thing, and that's win. And I guarantee you, he'll have more than 5 tonight.
Check out our starters tonight for Western Kentucky. Lamamba Thomas, Justin Johnson, Hugh Johnson, and Antoine Waters is getting his first start tonight, the senior from Baltimore, Maryland. He started 19 games last year in his first season for the Hilltoppers for Middle Tennessee. Tyreek Dixon, Habersham, Giddy Potts, Williams, and Reggie Upshaw, head coach for Western Kentucky, first season at the helm. Rick Stansberry won his 300th career win final day of 2016 against FAU. Just starting to build this Hilltopper program. Got a great recruiting class in, and it's a coach that can really coach.
He can. I've coached against both these guys. You're talking about 2 great coaches. They do it a little bit differently. Kermit, he does it primarily with his tenacious defense. He gets these guys to play as hard as any coach in college basketball. And Rick, he can coach, plus he's a great recruiter.
Davis last year took the Blue Raiders to the NCAA tournament. They're the reigning conference champions, and they're a perfect 4-0, the only unbeaten team in Conference USA. In Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky underway, and the tip handled by Junior Lamamba, the redshirt senior, as we get underway.
Well, Middle starts out man-to-man. They'll play, they'll mix it up. You're going to see a lot of 1-3-1 trapping tonight. Normally in misses, they'll go back to man-to-man, which they're in right now. And they've got the kind of team they can switch at just about every position because they've got 5 versatile players.
8 to shoot it inside. Antoine Waters.
Great basket for them. You want to get ahead of Middle on this court because not too many teams come in here and win.
Waters has scored in double figures just 5 times this year. Here's Upshaw for 3, trying to get the answer. And already Hugh Johnson getting the big board. Western Kentucky a struggle their last time out, coming in a little bit hungry. As you see a quick start for them, that's really what they needed, Coach.
They do, and that, that'll give them the confidence that they need, and maybe they'll get a little bit tougher too as this game goes on, because I think that's been lacking a little bit in their play.
2 outside looks.
Sort of a little strange to see middle settle in for threes. That's what they like to do.
And there's Williams from the free throw line with the first basket of the night for the Blue Raiders. Ja'Cory Williams, a senior from Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, this guy, Kermit Davis, you'll see him. Here's that 1-3-1 I talked about, Bernie. After made baskets, they'll pick you up at half court in a 1-3-1 trap, and then they'll either go back to a 2-3 zone, which is what they're in right now. They'll extend it out against the shooters, or they'll go back to man-to-man. But notice how they come out, 2 hands up. They really get out quick on the shooters. The other night against Marshall, Marshall, great three-point shooting team. They didn't get too many open looks.
Series dates back to 1914. Western Kentucky leads the overall picture, but it's been Middle Tennessee of late, and they're going to tie it up with a big slam down by Ja'Cory Williams.
Nice job that time by the freshman point guard. He saw him coming down the lane. Here's that 1-3-1 again. And the great thing about this defense, and we'll spend some time breaking it down, what it does also, the other team has to use time. So when they get ready to go to try and score, there's not that much time left in the shot clock.
Nice move inside and a big bucket for Justin Johnson, the junior who started out all 19 games preseason All-Conference USA selection.
Well, he's a really good all-around player. I think at times he gets a little comfortable with the three-point shot, and I think Coach really wants him to do just what he did just then, take the ball to the basket and get those baskets there.
Tyreek Dixon feeds Reggie Upshaw.
Got to have pressure on the basketball. No pressure on the ball. Reggie was able to get behind the defense along the baseline.
There's no stopping these offenses early on. Western Kentucky, a perfect 3 for 3, and Thomas has got the first miss of the night. Dixon will get the loose ball.
Not going to get any easy shots against this team.
Upshaw thought about driving, now kicks it back. Tyreek Dixon running the offense. Dixon, wide open look for 3. Got it.
Well, everybody knows their role in this team. The players know the big 3 are going to get the points. Everybody else, you just take care of your job.
Pancake Thomas, flustered for a moment. They'll kick it back. They'll still have 15 to work.
That's the pass that Middle wants you to throw.
Turns into a turnover and an easy bucket. Ja'Cory Williams with a finish. And Western Kentucky wants a timeout. It was a perfect 3 for 3 start for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Got off to a good start on the road, both these teams, with some good offense early on in a battle of 2 of the top teams in the conference, favored by the unbeaten Blue Raiders, 11-6 early on.
Well, if you want to beat Middle Tennessee, you better be able to handle the 1-3-1 trap, because they're going to trap you just over half court. And then what's going to happen is, if you're not really strong with the ball, okay, which you'll see on this possession here, the guys on the weak side are going to step up, and if you throw lazy passes, they're going to steal it and turn those into baskets, which you're going to see right here.
Well, the Blue Raiders lead Conference USA. They average 7 steals a contest after missing their first 2 shots. They're 5 for 5 from the field, and they're on a 7-0 run after Western Kentucky got off to the type of start that they wanted, especially on the road against Middle Tennessee.
Well, they got off to the start they wanted, but you know what? Against this team, they are so mentally and physically tough. You have got to come in determined to out-mentally play these guys.
The Murphy Center, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Bernie Gunther, Mike Jarvis with you on ASN, and early on, we saw a 3 for 3 start for Western Kentucky. They get the foul, and Justin Johnson is going to go to the free throw line.
Now, the other night, I'm doing the Western
Walters.
Kentucky. Yes,
Waters.
It's okay, but no matter who goes, you got to make these free throws. You got to make them pay when they foul you.
It's the second season for Antoine Waters after transferring from Gulf Coast State College.
Got to make these.
His numbers are up. This is his first start of the season. Prior, Ben Lawson had started all 18 games, the senior.
Well, you'll see Ben. Ben is more of a finesse player. They wanted Waters' toughness, but you got to make the free throws. That's being tough when you make free throws.
Waters missed them both. Upshot kicks it back. Good ball movement. Dixon, good feed inside, and that's an easy basket for Reggie Upshaw.
Got to know your personnel. You know when Dixon is penetrating, he's looking to pass. Don't like the way that Western Kentucky is handling this trap. The passes are too long over the top.
Loose ball on the ground, a whistle. Middle Tennessee thinks it's a jump ball. Instead, it's going to be a foul against the Blue Raiders.
Well, you know Coach doesn't agree.
Foul against Xavier Habersham.
Coach has got a right to be upset, and I think he's sending a quick message to the officials. You know, hey, I don't care who's favored. We're coming after you.
It's the 15th season for Kermit Davis here at Middle Tennessee. He's won 5 conference championships, began coaching at 24 years old. Not only has he had these Blue Raiders win the Sun Belt, but now also Conference USA.
One of the top coaches in all of college basketball is Kermit Davis.
Pancake Thomas at the free throw line.
And you know the intensity that you're watching here on the screen is the same intensity you get every day at practice.
Saw the note, 8 consecutive games in double figures. And Coach Davis knows how important this game is. After a 4-0 start in conference play, they've got some big wins. A win against Marshall, a win against UAB. UAB picked in the preseason to win Conference USA.
Well, you know, you talk about how important it is. The thing that makes him such a great coach is every day is important to him. And, you know, I've heard him say at times, hey, let's win this day, every day. Every day's game day to Kermit.
The Hilltoppers trying to fight for every basket. Pancake Thomas, too long. And how about the outlet pass? Nice job there for Ja'Cory Williams, feeding it to Xavier Habersham.
When you got a big guy that can get the ball up the rebound and start your fast break, that's pretty daggone good.
They've hit their last 7 shots from the field, and they've got a 15-8 lead. This is kind of what Western Kentucky was worried about.
Well, that time there, you saw them go back to the 1-3-1 and then into man-to-man. So you've got to be ready to really handle 2 defenses on the same possession.
Kind of floated up there by Pancake Thomas, trying to draw the foul, and he does draw the foul.
Watch Williams here. Once again, rebound, push. He had that set up all the way. Nice bounce pass to finish it. Don't you love to see a good old-fashioned bounce pass? I know I do.
Williams called for the foul, his first. 2 team fouls early on.
Now, that was a good call. It's just that it was a late call.
And I think they're trying to decide if it's going to be a 2-shot foul or a 3-shot foul. And it's going to be a 3-shot foul for Pancake Thomas.
You know, sometimes the officials will meet before the game, and they'll have their little conferences. And, you know, Kermit has a history of Kermit getting on officials, especially at home. And sometimes officials say, you know, to each other, we're gonna keep an eye on him early, and maybe we're going to tee him up early.
Right.
So maybe we can keep him on the bench.
Pancake Thomas played in 2 NCAA tournament games his first 2 seasons at New Mexico. He's hit the first 2 from the free throw line. Then went to Hartford, and now as a graduate student, he's a graduate at Western Kentucky studying intercollegiate athletic administration.
Well,
plenty of graduate transfers. Rick Stansberry, you know, the first season in, got to try to bring in as many players as he can to try to help the cause.
Yes, you do.
He gets all 3 from the free throw line.
That has become a huge trend in college basketball, the 5th-year player.
Western Kentucky, they returned just 2 starters and 3 letter winners from a season ago. A team that made this Conference USA semifinal, I should say, last year. That was a good spot. A whistle and a foul. Williams.
Love the patience by all the Middle Tennessee players. I mean, they'll pump fake you. They'll get you to just move your feet one way and then go opposite. They do a nice job.
They're going to count the basket for Ja'Cory Williams. Some confusion here.
Well, I think there was a foul called on Western Kentucky.
Called a foul on Jabari McGee. That's his first. Take another look.
Yeah, let's see if we can see where this foul comes in. Tough to see it.
And instead of a shooting foul, and we see Williams go back. 9 straight field goals made. And how about Williams? He's already in double figures with 10 points.
Well, he, like I said, he makes the easy ones, which are the dunks. And then he's got that, that 10, 12-foot game. And he doesn't try to, beat you with too many threes. He just tries to beat you.
Ja'Cory Williams comes in 7th in Conference USA in scoring, averaging 17 points a game. And to see why Middle Tennessee is so difficult to beat. They got the defense, they got the offensive tools, especially when the big three are clicking.
Well, you know what? And even if 2 of those guys are on, they can still beat you because defense is 5 against 1, 5 against the ball. And you can guarantee every night they're going to play defense. And then offensively, they're a patient team. When they're really good, they'll get the ball moving from one side of the court to the other. There you go. And then you can do a lot of things. And this guy is so good. Look at that movement.
Good ball movement for the Blue Raiders. Dixon comes up short, but an offensive board inside by Brandon Walters, and he's fouled.
I don't know about that, but anyhow, he's going to the line.
There's been Lawson. He started the first 18 games of the season. For Rick Stansberry, switched up to go to Antoine Waters in this game.
A little different kind of a player. The big guy, 7 foot, is more of a finesse player. He can shoot the 3. Waters is a banger. And that's one of the things you want against this team is you got to have probably another banger on the court if you're Western Kentucky.
So Walters coming off a career high 11 points against Marshall. Second time in his career at Middle Tennessee that he scored 11. Averages just about 4 points a game. He's going to make the free throws there to give Middle Tennessee a 10-point advantage, 21-11.
And, if you're on the team with the big 3 that we talked about, Williams, Upshaw, and Potts, if you're a kid like Walters, all you have to do is just get in position to rebound, make a few free throws. You could probably average 8 to 10 points a game.
Tobias Howard on the floor. There he is with the basketball. He started 4 games at guard as Rick Stansberry has really tried to struggle to find the right combination guard-wise as Jabari McGee called for the travel.
You can't rush against middle. You got to be solid. And you don't want to get down big early.
5th turnover for Western Kentucky. They've gone without a field goal almost 5 minutes.
Western Kentucky now is going to try a little zone of their own, little 2-3. But it's a tough team to zone defense because of the fact that they can spread you out. And the big thing is, if you can get the ball into the middle, like right here, all kinds of things can happen.
Upshaw inside another offensive board. And the second time's the charm once again for Brandon Walters.
That's the vulnerability against that zone of theirs, is the middle. Notice the guy stepping up on the weak side in that 1-3-1. That's where the steals will come.
8-0 Blue Raiders run. And look at the trap extending again. They're so great at forcing those turnovers. Tobias Howard on the outside got a good look for 3. Could not hit, and Upshaw gets the rebound. Dixon. Wide open is Ed Simpson for 3.
Tell you what, he's having a great year. 6-1 in assists to turnovers. That is performance.
Simpson 46% from the outside, and the Blue Raiders, they're on an 11-0 run, rolling at home, up 15. Middle Tennessee cruising at home, already up by 15. One of the reasons they're the only unbeaten in Conference USA. They've got 3 players that are in the top 15 in the conference in scoring.
Well, they do, and those 3 guys, not only do they score, but they rebound, and they're so unselfish, and they're also excellent defenders.
And their leading scorer, Ja'Cory Williams, he's already in double figures. There's 12 minutes remaining in the first half, Coach.
Well, now he can work on getting 12 or 10 or more rebounds, because I'm sure he'd love to have another double-double.
Williams transferred in from Arkansas. He made 7 starts last year in Fayetteville as a junior, averaged just 4.8 points a game. You get a chance to see what a different face, a different location does for him. He's gone from averaging almost 5 points a game all the way up to 17 here in his senior year.
Well, a lot of that also has to do with the style. I mean, the style here fits his game more so than that, 94-foot Arkansas style. It's all about style, where you fit best.
Western Kentucky, they started 3 for 3. They missed their last 3 shots, and probably dramatically, they've gone a long time without taking a shot. No points again. Another long drought as the Blue Raiders have really beat them up, and they miss a good look inside by Justin Johnson there. You got to convert those looks.
Well, you know what? The other thing, too, is I don't think you need to settle for fall-away jump shots because you're out of rebound position. Justin Johnson has got to rebound more for this team for them to win.
3-point look for Giddy Potts, one of the best 3-point shooters in the entire country, comes up short. And Pancake Thomas the other way is short, and his look for 3. And a hard foul.
You know what you have a tendency to do when you get behind, like Western Kentucky has here in this game? You have a tendency to want to get it back all at once. Instead of taking a little more time, being a little more patient, instead of getting good shots, you end up taking a quick shot like Pancake just took that last time. Now you're going to get even deeper in a hole.
Second foul on McGee.
Because the middle will try to make you pay every time you mess up.
There's a spot that Ja'Cory Williams doesn't like on the floor, but a miss there. That's his first miss from the field after a 5 for 5 start.
And that's, I'll tell you what, he don't miss too many shots from there.
And Rick Stansbury, he knew it coming in that he said that the last time out guard play has been a challenge really the entire season, and he's really trying to work with these guys when they get hit in the mouth, making sure that they're able to come and bounce back. And they've been hit in a big way early on here.
Well, you got to be tough, and you can't let a little bit of adversity put you in a deeper hole. I mean, you've got to get tougher, and that's what they haven't been able to do so far. And there's no reason, I don't think, for it, even though they don't have a true point guard, because they've got enough guys who played enough, whether it's at Western KU or somewhere else, they played enough to be tougher than they are.
Ja'Cory Williams in double figures again. Recorded 3 straight double-doubles, the first Blue Raider to accomplish that feat in 20 years against Vandy, Belmont, and VCU.
All good teams.
Only game he hasn't scored in double figures is the loss against Georgia State. It's already in the books that he's in double figures tonight. He's got 11.
That game was just before the Christmas break, and a game that they, to this day, I'll tell you, they should have won.
Field Toppers have missed their last 5 shots from the field. They desperately could use a bucket in an over 4-minute scoring drought.
Do such a good job helping off of the ball and screens, rotating. You're never going to get an easy look. That's probably as easy a look as you're going to get.
And Q Johnson, who shoots 35% from 3-point range, misses there. And I'm going to call a foul on that drive. Howard comes in. Offensive foul on Antoine Johnson.
Well, once again, in the game of basketball, you got to get back. Now, that time Western Kentucky did a good job, got back, and the last line of defense looked to take the charge. He did. That's how you can win basketball games. You don't have to win the game necessarily all the time by scoring.
And Tobias Howard, who took that charge, just a freshman. That's the first basket after 5 misses for Western Kentucky. Waters, who started the game.
Pretty good touch for the big guy from about 15 feet out.
Williams Likes the spot, hits the J.
Well, you know what Williams did that time? He caught it, and he said, Justin Johnson, you cannot defend me out here. And he took him a little closer.
Half a night, Williams. He's 6 for 7 from the field with 13 points. Hilltoppers trying to answer, and it rims out for Justin Johnson, but they get 3 chances to make the play, and Justin Johnson, who missed the 3-point shot, is there to clean it up.
And that's what he's got to do. I mean, if this team is gonna make a run, Justin's got to play that way. He's got to get to the glass and finish up around the basket. Great job that time.
3-point look on the outside does not go for Antoine Johnson.
Now watch this offense here. The movement. Williams gets it. He doesn't settle for a 3. He takes it in and to his range. Says, I'm going to get what I want.
What a season. The first 6 double-doubles of his career. Upshaw. They completely missed him on that inbound play.
Well, you know, they run a lot of screen-to-screen action and they're out of bounds. They try to score every time they take the ball out of bounds.
Upshaw's got 6.
You can't make those over-the-top passes against this defense. It takes too long for the ball to get from one guy to the next. That gives guys a chance to get into passing lanes. If you're going to throw those passes, you should get up in the air and throw a good two-hand overhead jump pass.
8:40 to play in the first half. It's been all Blue Raiders trying to go to 5-0 in Conference USA.
Good job.
A little floater there for Tobias Howard.
Shot that almost everybody has to have in this game today. This is where middle will usually be very patient, get it to one of the big 3. It's a nice kick out.
Nice job. They kick it out to Simpson, and a second chance opportunity. Upshaw kicks it outside. Potts inside the arc.
I'll tell you what, it's amazing. I mean, and once again, we talked about this before the game. If you got 3 guys that can score and they stay healthy, you can win a lot of basketball games.
Katie Potts, preseason All-Conference USA, 9th in the NCAA among active 3-point shooters, is Antoine Johnson is going to be fouled. Giddy Potts, Ja'Cory Williams, Reggie Upshaw. The Blue Raiders, they have options on the floor. Potts gets his first basket of the night, and it's been all Blue Raiders early on with a 33-17 lead at home. Students just getting back on campus in Murfreesboro, and they got a lot to cheer for with this Blue Raider team that's got so many options. They show it to you on this inbound play.
Well, they do. Every play is designed to score, and you're going to see sometimes the simplest thing. Little up screen by Potts for his teammate, his partner. There comes Upshaw off the screen. Now, defensively, somebody's got to be trying to help. You know, and against those up screens, you should really probably switch those so that you're not ever trailing a guy coming off a screen toward the basket. That's a whole nother.
Look at Potts. First 7 games, 13 points a game, and he's really stepped up play, especially as they've headed to conference play as a junior from Athens, Alabama. 41% from beyond the arc.
One of the best in college basketball, not only this year, but, you know, as far as overall. And the thing about him is he makes the biggest baskets in the game are the ones that he's usually going to make. You need a big basket, Giddy's going to get it for you. Used to hate coaching against him.
Well, the Hilltoppers looking for options against those big 3 for the Blue Raiders. They've got out to a tremendous start here at home.
There's that 1-3-1. Now, when you attack that, you can't throw the ball over the top and towards your basket. The man receiving the ball has got to be back a little bit, and you got to get a little more on those passes if you want to have a chance, Weston.
Waters like the spot, missed the basket. Blue Raiders back with the basketball. Here's Potts. We haven't seen him take a look from the outside yet. And they tried to get it to Williams inside. And I thought it was last touch by Western Kentucky, but they're going to say it was last touch by Middle Tennessee, so it'll be Hilltoppers basketball with 7 to play in the first.
The tough part about that was the pass was made from above the foul line. You got to get the ball down a little bit more toward the baseline to make those entry passes.
Pancake Thomas.
Watch them okay, no switch. They really do a great job helping and recovering, or they'll switch those ball screens.
Thomas is the leading scorer for Western Kentucky with 5 points.
Now back him in, keep going. Don't settle, even though he made that. He could keep backing him in.
Spin move works for Justin Johnson. This 6.5 stretch, the final here in the first half. It's going to be so important for Western Kentucky to try to cut into this big lead that the Blue Raiders have mounted early on.
Well, you're down 16, so now what 99% of the coaches in the world will say is let's get it to 10 or under. And let's try to be down maybe 9 at halftime.
4 to shoot, 3-point look from the outside, and Xavier Habersham with the basket, the redshirt senior.
Another experienced player. It doesn't take a ton of shots, but he shoots a high percentage.
He started 4 of the last 5 games and has come up big, and the answer the other way for Q Johnson.
And that's where you want to get the ball. You want to try to get the ball to the middle. But before you get it to the middle, you got to be able to reverse the ball usually.
Nice feed up, Shaw inside. And he tips it to himself and gets his own miss. Simpson, great ball movement. There's Potts from the outside, one of the best shooters, and it's tipped in by Habersham, who has the last 2 buckets for the Blue Raiders.
Yes, he's a guard, but he's about 6'6", and he's long. And boy, you better put a body on him. Almost doubled him up as far as the half. Huge possessions here for WKU. They've got to score 2 or 3 in a row and make 2 or 3 stops in a row.
5 minutes to play. There is a whistle away from the basketball. How about the work that Kermit Davis has done at Middle Tennessee, Sunbelt, now in CUSA? This is a team that has won the most games of any team in the Volunteer State during this period.
Well, I tell you what, he is, like I said before, he's one of the top coaches in America. And, you know, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be tough for Middle to keep him. He loves it there. But, boy, everybody's coming after this guy. That's how good he is.
And he's made it where the fans inside the Murphy Center, well over 80% of the time, they're leaving the venue happy. And that's one way to make sure you have job security, right?
You bet.
We're going to see another 3-shot foul on the outside. And despite the fact that Coach Davis well up here, still coaching.
Hey, let me tell you something. You better coach every second of every game, because what you can't ever allow to happen is for players to start to develop bad habits, because eventually those bad habits, a game like tonight where right now it looks easy, come back to bite you later on in a game that's a lot closer.
Junior Lamamba hit the first, missed the second, and he's going to have a chance to get 2 points. Played the last 2 seasons at Providence, where last year he started all 34 games. He's in graduate school as well.
Right. I know they're experimenting a lot with him, trying to see if he could be their point guard, but it's so difficult for a guy who's played the off-guard position, the scoring position, all of a sudden be the guy running the team.
Dixon brings the basketball up with 4.5 to play here in the first half. It's been all Blue Raiders up by 17. Simpson. They've moved the basketball so well in the first half, and there's a rare turnover. Pancake Thomas gets the steal and gets the basket. It's a team that's last in CUSA in steals, but Pancake Thomas gets a steal there. But it's been all Middle Tennessee early on here in the first half. Williams leading the way with 13, as it's a 15-point Blue Raider advantage at home. A cool rainy day here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, but Hilltopper fans inside the Murphy Center, they've liked what they've seen the first 16 minutes of this contest, as they have more to the time that they come to this arena. Coach, you think about the success that Kermit Davis has inside this building. It's unbelievable.
Well, it is, and it's not by accident either. Like I said, these guys work every single day. They have built a strong program. Just think of this. The year before last, they beat number 3 seed Iowa State in the tournament. Last year, they beat Michigan State in the tournament. I'll tell you what, I would not want to play this team this year in the NCAA tournament. I don't care what seed I was.
73-13 at home for Coach Davis since 2011. For the first time since 2013, it's a team that's receiving votes. You know, you talk about, again, resume building. For Middle Tennessee, this is a team that may be a little bit of a rarity in CUSA to already maybe have an at-large bid locked in, especially if they could keep up playing the way that they have.
Oh, they have. They can't. And what they can't do, though, is they can't lose to any of the teams at the bottom of the league, because then they're not getting in that large bid.
Simpson on the outside missed the three-point look with 3 seconds to shoot.
Now, what WKU did that time, really smart by Stansbury, they themselves went to a little 1-3-1 defense.
Inside, it doesn't go for Waters. And, you know, we talked about with Rick Stansbury this week, and that's one of the things he said, he may mix it up and show a little zone.
Well, I think he might have to show a lot more zone. And that was a good move. Like I said, you know, sometimes teams that do a certain thing, they sometimes have a problem with it because they have success in practice against it. So, it's like a team that presses, sometimes you can press them. Maybe if you're another coach, you say, you know what, let's take a look at the 1-3-1 against Middle because they're so good at it. Maybe they're not so good at it in practice. You never know. Just a thought.
Well, sometimes when you're struggling defensively, as the Hilltoppers have this season, you just got to think about a different look, right?
Well, you got to think about it, and then you got to go out and say, you know what, we're going to make something work. Because at the end of the day, no matter what the coach has you doing, you got to finish it off. You got to perform.
Waters goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line. They feed it right to Brandon Walters, who missed the J.
Little different than Williams shooting it there. The other thing is, team plays a 1-3-1 against you. As you notice so far, Weston goes 2-1-2 against it. That's what most coaches do. A lot of times, you're better off going 1-3-1 against it.
Q Johnson, and last touch out of bounds by Waters. It'll be Blue Raider basketball.
Let's see what Weston does this time. The 1-3-1 worked last time. Let's see if they go back to it.
Got Blue Raiders on a little bit of a drop. They haven't scored in a little over 2 minutes. 3 minutes remaining in the first half. This is Dixon for 3. He's got the basket from the outside. Just the 10th time this season that he's connected from three-point range for the freshman from Bentonville, Arkansas.
I'll tell you what, though, he's done a great job as a freshman taking care of the ball. He makes open threes. Every time I see him, it looks like he's getting more and more confident.
He's got 6 points. He scored in double figures 3 times this season.
Those are the passes that are going to get you in trouble.
Almost got another steal. Now they floated inside, and the finish for Waters.
That time they were able to get behind the defense along the baseline. If you had a little quick guard, you could just attack them off the dribble. But when you don't, you're going to have to get the ball moving from one side to the other and then try to get it to the middle.
Upshaw for 3 from the outside, and it's going to be a foul, I think, as Brandon Walters was trying to get the rebound. The 7th foul for Western Kentucky. Take another look at Tyreek Dixon's three-point look.
Well, once again, it's going to come off a good ball movement, and then, of course, he's got his feet set, and boom. Nice follow through.
Brandon Walters just 8 of 13, make it 8 of 14 from the free throw line so far this year. And Western Kentucky, they push the basketball down the floor quickly, and they're able to draw the foul. It's going to be the second on Williams.
Justin Johnson, see those, you've got to turn those into three-point plays. You've got to take the ball strong, try to get two hands in the square. Can't be going away from the contact.
Justin Johnson last year shot 60% from the field. It was second best in the conference, finished in the top 20 in the country.
But you know what? He should be probably about an 80% free throw shooter. But if he goes back and he watches free throws, he'll see he doesn't follow through on his free throws. He's a better three-point shooter than he is a free throw shooter.
It's just a 58% from the free throw line. And to your point, 50% from beyond the arc, where he's 15 of 30 on the year.
He follows through more on a three-point shot than he does on a free throw.
Antoine Johnson draws the foul.
And I love this kid. I remember the first game I ever saw him play. He was a freshman. He played against Louisville, and he played a great game. I mean, but it's the little things that I know Coach wants him to do even better. I know he wants him to be tougher around the boards, and he wants to certainly make more free throws.
Wow, what an effort play by Upshaw to get that loose ball, and Middle Tennessee still controls it with 93 seconds to play here in the first half.
Well, we talked about Upshaw before the game, and he just never stops on a play.
And he turns it into a basket as Upshaw gets the bucket from the baseline. He has 8 points now in the contest.
Good things happen to good people who work hard.
Jump ball. It'll be Middle Tennessee's basketball. Let's take another look at the effort here. Reggie Upshaw, the senior, creates this.
Well, what we didn't see was him, I think, tipping it out, getting it, because he's a guy, he just goes after the ball. I tell you what, end of a game, if there's a loose ball on the floor or above the rim, he's going after it.
He's got 6 rebounds in this game, so now he's moved past Jerry Beck, 5th all-time in program history. He just moved over 1,300 career points his last time out. He's got 783 career rebounds over the time that he's spent, and 6 in this contest. Final 45 of this first half. And Pancake Thomas comes up with a loose ball. And
so the goaltend.
A goaltending foul there. Pancake Thomas will get the bucket.
Upshaw's got what, 8? I told you they wouldn't hold. You're not holding that guy to 5 again. Of course, like I say, he doesn't care. This guy wants to win first. He'll worry about his stats later.
Final half minute. Blue Raiders by 15.
That was tough. You know, you get that ball back, you're down 15, you got a chance to maybe score. Okay, so you go in maybe 12 or 13 down. Now you're giving Middle a chance to get a couple more. Huge possessions. You know, it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight, Bernie. The last time I had Middle, they got up pretty big, and then they started shooting a lot of threes. So this second half, I'm going to really be anxious to see if they learn something from that game, and that is to be a little more patient when they get up big.
Simpson getting the home court roll on the free throw.
Game's still, you know, very much in reach, but the first thing you got to do now if you're Western Kentucky is get it down under 10. That's got to be your first goal.
Hilltoppers have a chance to play for the final basket of the first half. And Thomas, big feet inside and a big finish for Ben Lawson, who draws the foul and has a chance to make it a three-point play.
Big play. A heck of a lot difference. You know, you always want to go in halftime off of a score, and if they can go in off a alley-oop and a free throw and now stop them with 5.5 seconds to go, that'll be huge. One thing you know about college basketball, it's never over.
Lawson trying to make it a three-point play. He's from Hitchkin, England, played with the Great Britain national team in the FIBA European Championships. Some great international experience. A miss there. Upshot will push the basketball from midcourt. Does not go. Middle Tennessee, they led by as many as 19, but they're going to take a 46-32 lead into the break. Try to move to 5-0 in conference play.
Well, they got this game right where they want it right now. That is, they're up, they're at home. Now they can control the tempo and continue to play Middle Tennessee State basketball.
Williams leading the way for Middle Tennessee. They lead it at the break. We send it out to our ASN studio with Monica McNutt and Oliver Purnell.
Thank you, Bernie and Mike. A 14-point commanding lead for the Blue Raiders at home from the Murphy Center in Conference USA action. Welcome into the ASN Halftime Report alongside Coach Oliver Purnell. I'm Monica McNutt. Coach, 14 points. Blue Raiders doing what the Blue Raiders do, but when you look at it, goodness gracious, when it comes to the rebounding, 21-8. 22-8, I should say.
Well, Middle has dominated and dictated this first half in every way. They, you know, that 1-3-1 trap is suffocating and creating steals. As you say, when the ball goes up on the backboard, they get that. They're being very patient, and they share the basketball. And Ja'Cory Williams is a nightmare matchup for Western Kentucky.
He's had himself quite the first half for Kermit Davis. Well, this is not the only college basketball action today. We're going to jump to some other CUSA scores here. Coach Marshall, the team that Middle Tennessee knocked off earlier in the week, falls to UAB.
Well, UAB, you know, early on, a lot of people thought they would win the league. It looks like they're starting to hit their stride, and it's going to be a great matchup with the other teams in the top of that league, including Middle Tennessee. Old Dominion, of course, we saw that game, and La Tech, I was very impressed. You know, they really kind of dominated that game. And then you look at Southern Miss, that game's coming up later. And then finally, Florida International loses a tough one at UT at Arlington.
You mentioned that La Tech ODU game. Eric McCree having a great year for the Bulldogs and Coach Eric Conkle. That one was right here on ASN. Other games you got to talk about, SEC action. Kentucky's having a game today. And then we've got ACC games we got to talk about as well. Stay with us. Welcome back. ACC action. Duke and Louisville at the Yum Center. Little defense here for the Blue Devils. Grayson Allen comes up with the ball, finishes amongst a handful of white jerseys, Coach. That kid is very talented, although he comes with some drama.
Yeah, he's starting to hit his stride again, and hopefully he can stay out of that drama.
He had 23 and 9 today. Second half, Donovan Mitchell on the fast break with a spin move. 15 points for that young man.
You know, Louisville's obviously fired up for this game. Remember, they started 0-2, and this gives them a chance to get it even. If possible, there you see them getting the ball inside and then getting on the offensive glass with tremendous effort.
Anis Mahmoud, the young man from Cairo, 17 points, 11 rebounds for him, helping his Cardinals get a victory over the Blue Devils by 9. Other ACC action in Chapel Hill now. Florida State getting ready to battle with the Tar Heels. Tar Heel fans ready to go. 9 versus 11. Justin Jackson, he'll take all 3 of those, Coach.
You cannot leave him open there. Great player. The other great player here, Joel Berry, who's having a big-time year.
Joel Berry was the high man with 26 points in this contest. PJ Savoy using some defense, leading to offense. It's technically a dunk, but it wasn't really a rim rattler, but 2 points count. That's all that matters. Second half now, JJ, keep going, young fella, keep going.
There he is with his in-between game. He can obviously shoot the 3, but he can also take the ball into the lane with his tremendous length.
Isaiah Hicks also getting in on the action. His second 22-point game of the season. Now that, my friends, was a dunk. Tar Heels get the W, 13 points. They keep rolling 4-1 in ACC play. Our current contest, Middle Tennessee with a 14-point lead. Reggie Upshaw, the alley-oop. The bucket was good. Stay right here. Make sure you check out the A10 Spotlight right here on the American Sports Network. Join me as I chat with the athletes and coaches that make up the A10 Conference. Of course, it's basketball season, so we're talking A10 hoops on the men's and women's side. Your local listings, AmericanSportsNet.com. Find out where and when you can watch. A10 basketball action. In fact, today, speak of the devil, Dayton and Duquesne in this one. There you see Cyrus Williams knocking down a three-pointer for the Flyers. He had himself quite the day. A little later, Kyle Davis out on the fast break. This kid just brings so much toughness to the squad.
Well, he brings them that attack mode, and Dayton had it all going today. A three-point shot, as well as taking it to the basket. There's that guy again, Cyrus Williams, knocking down the three. And, he had a big day from the three-point line, no question about it.
The young man had 18 points today. A very, very good game, a strong output for Archie Miller's squad. Here you see Scoochie Smith, the name that everybody loves in college basketball, knocking down a three. Flyers roll in this one. Final score 76-57. Our current contest, 46-32. Blue Raiders lead at home. There you see them in transition, getting some buckets. The action is not over yet here on ASN. Up next, we jump into the WAC. Grand Canyon taking on UT Rio Grande Valley, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, I should say. Keep it locked right here. Should be a good one. All right, Coach, lots of work for Western Kentucky and Coach Stanbury's squad if they're going to catch this Blue Raider squad. How do they do it?
Well, it's really important they realize they're in it. 14 points in today's game is not that big a deal. They got to be aggressive against that 1-3-1 half-court trap, and at the same time, get good shots. And on the other hand, Middle can't get complacent. If they get complacent, Western could get back into this thing. They can't get impatient as well, just start hoisting up threes.
Well, they're going to have to pick one of the things that you said, if not all of the above, and do their best to catch the Conference USA league-leading Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee. Part of the reason is that guy, Giddy Potts, knocking down the jumper. Enjoy the second half with Coach and Bernie.
A fun night tonight inside the Murphy Center. This is kind of what it's like to be a Hilltopper defender. Middle Tennessee, they can whack you so many ways, whether it's Potts, Upshaw, or in the first half it was Ja'Cory Williams leading the way with 13 points.
Well, Ja'Cory Williams got him off to a great start. I mean, he was scoring around the basket, Williams around the basket, foul line. I mean, and then, of course, the defense that they extend and throw at you. I mean, gets everybody involved. And, once again, they got so many different ways that they can beat you. But the big three, this guy here has just been tremendous.
A nearly perfect first half, 13 points, 6 of 7 for the field. To check out our first half stats. It's a pretty good shooting for Western Kentucky as they shot the ball 55%, but just 53% from the free throw line, and they were 0 for 3 from three-point range.
Well, the three-point doesn't bother me as much as the free throws. You have to make your free throws, and especially front ends of 1-and-1s. Those are the shots that keep you in the game. I mean, I'm looking at this game, and I'm saying, Rick Stanbury, you're doing a great job. You're only down 14 points, and honestly, stats would tell you they probably should be down 25, 26 points.
Well, ASN quadruple header finishes up tonight in the WAC. Grand Canyon 1-1 in the WAC taking on UT Rio Grande Valley. That game coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern. It'll be right here on ASN following this game between Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky.
Well, coaches will tell you, first 4 minutes of the second half many times will determine, and for right now, these first 4 minutes of this second half are crucial for Western. They've got to get something going.
They trail by as many as 19 points here inside the Murphy Center. Bernie Gunther, Mike Jarvis with you on ASN. They had a chance to get within 13, and I guess the first goal of the second half just to get it into a single-digit deficit.
Yeah, you want to get it below 10. I mean, that's a psychological number that kids, not as much as it used to be before the three-point shot, but you always want to get it below 10.
Lamamba inbounds it. Pancake Thomas.
Bernie, one of the reasons why I think Williams is having such a good year is because Kermit Davis, he doesn't care whether or not you're a superstar or not. He's going to coach you like you're a walk-on.
It's a strong move for Justin Johnson, who finished the first half with the floor. He's got 8 points, as he gets the first bucket of the second half.
And it's only 12. I mean, come on. If they could get 3 stops in a row, score a couple of baskets, we got ourselves a ball game.
Inside the Upshaw double teamed on the baseline, and he walked in a turnover early on.
Yeah, of course he got bumped a little bit from behind. That helped him walk, and that's what Kermit's saying.
A team that doesn't turn the ball over much, averaging just 10 turnovers a game.
Well, he got pushed on that one, to be honest with you. I agree with you, Kermit.
Turned it over 7 times in this contest, and a chance for Western Kentucky to get the first 2 buckets. Pancake Thomas, leading scorer with 9. Get it to Johnson, flips it outside. Nice little ball movement, setting up a 3-point look, but it does not go for Lamamba on the outside, the senior.
Yes, and anytime a shot goes up, somebody's got to be getting to the weak side, low position to rebound. That time they had nobody in position to rebound. 70% of the shots are coming off at the same angle on the weak side of the floor, so get there.
The topper is 0 for 6. From the outside, this is Williams, the leading scorer. He's loved the spot all night long. He's got 15 points.
Normally you'd be saying, oh, not a good shot. But for this kid, hey, there aren't too many shots that he's going to take that aren't good.
He is 7 for 8. I think that's got to give you some credence as a coach that the spots are good, right?
Well, the spots are good, and you know what? He doesn't miss any bunnies. I mean, that's the thing. He's going to make shots around the basket.
Foul against Western Kentucky. Let's take another look at Ja'Cory Williams' first bucket of the second half.
Well, once again, I mean, he can score off the bounce, and there aren't too many guys his size that can do that against you. And then, of course, next time he'll probably give you a little head fake and drive by you.
One of 3 Conference USA players in the top 10 in points and rebounds. 7th in points, 9th in rebounding. He almost averages a double-double, averaging 7 rebounds a game.
And he can pass the basketball.
And how about that? Showing you that he can move to the hoop as well.
Well, he's left-handed, so anytime you close out against him, you got to close out with the right hand up, the right foot up, and you got to make him go to the right. You let him go left, he's going to kill you.
It's maybe his biggest fault at the free throw line, shooting just 68%.
Well, you know what? In college basketball today, 68% is probably the norm. But you know what? He should probably be shooting about 88%. I mean, he's that good a player. And he'll play somewhere after Middle Tennessee. And I guarantee you, the next time you look at his free throw percentage, it'll be in the 80s.
Gets them both at the free throw line. 50-34. Kermit Davis's group on top. The only undefeated team in Conference USA. Try to move to 5-0. They've taken down UAB. They've taken down Marshall. And now another team that was a semifinalist a year ago, Western Kentucky. Some of these early games important as well because you get a bye into the quarterfinals in Conference USA based on the regular season standings. So it's a Hilltopper team trying to avoid going to 3-3. And at the buzzer, a basket there for Johnson.
Q. On cue. Well, you know, the other thing about these games, I mean, this is the first time these two teams have met this year. They're going to play again. The next time it's going to be at Western Kentucky. So, you know, you want to play well. Even if you lose, you want to play well. You don't want to let the other team think that they got your number.
Upshaw in double figures now as he backs down Johnson, and there is Pancake Johnson with the 11 as well, with the answer the other way for Western Kentucky.
Last couple of trips down, they've basically been able to run their stuff. Look for Middle to go back to the 1-3-1. Here's Western showing a little 2-3 themselves. And you mentioned that Coach said he's going to try to do some things maybe they haven't done much, and this is one of them, play some zone.
Blue Raiders struggling to break it this time. Williams, baseline jumper short. And credit that time, Hilltoppers with a little defense getting the ball back.
Yes, and against that 2-3 zone, you want to try to get the ball down to the baseline if you can, and then go into the post. And both teams are pretty good at doing that. Nice pass. Got to make those.
Pancake Thomas for 3.
One more stop, one more basket. Mission would be accomplished. Get it under 10.
52-41. They continue in that 2-3 zone.
And rotating in and out of the middle is somebody from middle.
And there's Williams.
It's so tough when you got players like Williams and Upshaw and the other big wings cutting into the middle of the zone, guys that can not only catch and score, but catch and put it and make passes.
Williams with the steal, and Williams can't finish. And Western Kentucky almost came up with a loose ball, but it's going to be Middle Tennessee basketball when we come back. But a much better start for Pancake Thomas and the Hilltoppers as they cut into the halftime lead for Middle Tennessee. 54-41. Hilltoppers try to come back on the road. Western Kentucky out to a much better start to the second half for Rick Stansbury. Talked about it, won his 300th career win, final day of 2016 against FAU. The previous 293 came in Starkville, Mississippi, where he was the head coach of Mississippi State, and he was very successful in the SEC.
I'll tell you what, you don't get much better than that. And to recruit to Starkville, Mississippi is not easy. So you know the guy can coach and his teams can win.
You know, it comes back to the Hill. It's interesting because his great uncle, Edgar Stansbury, was inducted into the Western Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame in 1994. Athlete in 3 sports: baseball, basketball, football, director of athletics. And it's interesting because the concourse at the Diddle Arena is named in Stansbury's honor. So what a great connection coming back. You know, he was born and raised in Kentucky.
And I guarantee he'll do some serious recruiting in Kentucky. And the other thing, too, is, you know, when Western Kentucky has been one of those premier mid-major programs. In fact, one of the top 50 programs in the country. They've won so many basketball games. So if you're going to go from a really big power conference to a mid-level school, a mid-major school, this is the perfect school to go to because of the tradition that they have here. They got a great facility to play in at home, and they've got fans that really care about basketball in Western Kentucky.
But Rick could really recruit back at Mississippi State. And the first year here, he already has, according to some polls, a top 10 recruiting class set to go to the Hill next year. It's really incredible, right?
Well, it is. And, you know, we talked about the fact that they don't have a true point guard this year. But next year, he's got 2 already coming in. In fact, he's got 1 sitting out, young man transferred from Buffalo, and he's got a really good recruit coming in. So guess what? They'll be back.
3-point basket, the first 2 of this contest coming in the second half for Western Kentucky, and they're going to get the turnover there.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristic middle. Middle loves to reverse the ball. That time the ball stayed on one side of the court. It's 10. Guess what? Now you can get it down to 8 or 7, but you got to move it, make something happen as a team.
And this is what Coach Stansbury really wanted, is he wanted to test his team. He knows that on the road they're going to be challenged. This is what he has coming in, a bunch of really big players that are potential McDonald's All-Americans, including Mitchell Robinson, a 5-star center, Josh Anderson, a 4-star guard, and you think Hollingsworth is just about as good as anybody as well.
He is. I mean, when they say 3-star, you know, that means he could just easily be a 4-star. And you know what? No matter how many stars kids got before their name when they come, it's what they do when they get here. So, you know, a 1-star can become a 5-star. But he can coach and he can recruit, and he's got a great university and a great basketball environment to recruit them to.
He inherited a team that returned only 2 starters and 3 letter winners from a year ago, trying to piece it together with a bunch of 5th-year graduate students, as now they are into a single-digit deficit as the free throw good there for Q Johnson.
Now, both of these schools, Bernie, don't forget now, they were Sun Belt schools. I remember coaching and playing against both of these schools back in the Sun Belt.
Blue Raiders led by as many as 19, but they've been flustered with the 2-3 zone here to start the second half. Can they find an answer?
If you're going to play against middle, you've got to be able to play some zone.
Upshot with 3 to shoot, and it is tipped in down low by Williams. Have a day, Williams with 21.
sort of surprised more teams don't try to play middle zone.
McGee got in foul trouble early. He's got 2 fouls. He's back on the floor. Q Johnson with a little floater, trying to get it off the glass, and he does.
It's the way to use the glass, I'll tell you that.
Johnson's second Hilltopper in double figures, and a blocking foul is called. Count the basket. Waters is going to be called for his second personal.
Well, Johnson's he's a really good scorer, and he can beat you off the dribble. And boy, I tell you what, great use of the glass.
Last season played for Washington State. He led the Cougars and was 11th in the Pac-12, shooting 40% from three-point range. His numbers may be down fractionally, but again, tough with the, couple of shots here or there can really shift it from 37 up to 40 plus in three-point range.
Oh yeah, anything over 33 is good, because 33% from 3 is equivalent to 50% from 2. And I used to always tell, if you can shoot the ball 33% or better, you can shoot threes. If you can't, you shouldn't be shooting threes.
Western Kentucky has answered the bell in a big way to start the second half. 58-47 for Middle Tennessee team that led by as many as 19. This is Pancake Thomas trying to set this offense. And another floater, runner in the lane is good for Ben Lawson. Lawson his second bucket of the basketball game.
Yes, finesse big guy, can score. Little 2-3, smart move by Western. You don't win 300 games unless you know how to coach.
And you see how important Williams thought about passing it. They laid off of him. He missed the easy J. He was short.
So now, Bern, you want to try and get it down to 6. That's your next goal. Got it to 10. Now let's see if we can get it to 6 and make it a 2-possession game.
Pancake Thomas.
Trying to maybe do a little bit too much that time.
Dixon with the basketball with 11:45 to play. Good ball movement, creates the look for Upshaw. He's got the three-point basket. That's the first three-point basket of the second half for Middle Tennessee.
Well, they don't need a whole lot of threes, but I'll tell you what, like we said before about Upshaw, he knows when to do what. That was a big time for a 3. Very important time. Look weak side.
McGee lost his footing, and they're going to say that he stepped out of bounds. It'll be Middle Tennessee basketball when we come back. But Western Kentucky, a much better second half as they battle against the Blue Raiders at home, looking to move to 5-0 in conference play, leading 61-49. There's a reason to smile if you're a Blue Raider fan. So many options on the floor. Reggie Upshaw in double figures for the 15th time this season. And Kermit Davis, they've done a great job of distributing the basketball.
Yeah. And you know what? Whether you're playing against man-to-man or zone, if you can move that basketball and get guys to their spots, you can score.
17 assists in this game as a team. Upshaw 13 points, 8 boards. He's now top 5 in Middle Tennessee history in rebounds, moving past Jerry Beck.
The other thing, you look at him and you say, okay, I look at minutes played. And out of the top 3, he plays the most minutes a game, 32. Here's Western now extending that zone a little bit. Smart, another smart move. Give them a little bit of their own medicine, a little 1-3-1, back to zone. But you got to come up with it.
Look at Dixon. A gift.
A gift. Those are the ones that hurt big time.
Blue Raiders have hit 4 of their last 5. Western Kentucky's been very good here in the second half. They've hit 6 of their last 8 from the floor. Going to miss a floater down the lane for Q Johnson.
But a nice aggressive play, though. At least he's being very aggressive.
Williams, who leads with 21, rebounded by Waters. And out the outside, a chance for Antoine Johnson. Doesn't go 3 opportunities here for Middle Tennessee in that possession.
10 minutes to go. Once again, if you're Western, you want to get it under 10, before 10.
They led 6-4, 17 minutes remaining in the first half. So they had an early lead. Lawson is fouled. He's going to go to the free throw line.
You hear the term slip? That means you fake like you're going to screen and you just slip your way to the basket. And sometimes, you know, defenses are geared to, you know, playing against certain things like the screen. And if you release early, a lot of times you can catch them in between, which is what they did there.
It's a fourth foul for Giddy Potts. He's going to go to the bench.
Coach will probably try to keep him out until probably about maybe the 4-minute mark of the game.
15th foul. Potts with just 2 points, and I guess that's the positive, having 3 that could score.
Right.
They kind of rotate. Everybody's bound to have an off night. It's just 1 for 4 from the field. But Williams and Upshaw picked up in a big way as they feed it inside to Walters, who's got 6 now.
Yeah, he's getting better. I'll tell you what, Coach earlier this year talked about developing his bench, and it's happening.
They're +8 in the paint, 30 points in the paint for the Blue Raiders. Pancake Thomas. This is McGee channeling it down the lane, and it'll be last touch by Middle Tennessee, but nice defense inside.
If I'm Kermit every night before I go to bed, I'm going to say my prayers and say, dear Lord, keep my big 3 healthy, because if they stay healthy, they're going to have a great year. They're having a great year.
Only 3 losses this season. They've got a number of big wins. The team that's been on the rise. It's not easy, you know, making that transition from the Sun Belt into Conference USA.
There's that weak side. Once again, you know, you got to know where the ball's going, and 70% of the time, whether it hits something or not, it's going to the weak side. So get there.
First field goal in over 3 minutes for Western Kentucky. And a foul is going to go against Brandon Walters.
No. There's the shot. Got the inside rebound position. I don't care if you're on offense or defense. The job for the play, you always try to get inside position, whether you're on offense or defense.
First basket of the night for Jabari McGee. And this shot turned into a pass. And another offensive foul. And you see the frustration on the face of Rick Stansberry there.
Yeah, you know, that's an emphasis there. I mean, referees are really looking for those screens. So you've got to make sure you get there and get your feet set before contact. And, you know, a lot of times they'll call an illegal screen at one end, and invariably you'll see one call at the other end on the very next trip down court.
So it's a second foul on Lawson. 8.5 to play. The Hilltoppers, they've cut it down to single digits a couple times in the second half, but they haven't gotten over the hump. Because of this ball movement, because they've created plays, and Upshaw again converts an easy look. He's got 16 tonight at home.
When you got 4 and many times 5 guys on the court that can all step away from the basket and make baskets, awfully tough to defend.
5 points his last time out. Upshaw has got 16, and down the lane, McGee with a big finish for the Hilltoppers.
Nice give and go. And you know, certain plays will work against man and zone, whether it's pick and rolls or give and goes. They work against man and they work against zone. Good ball movement, nice skip pass.
Thought about it for 3 instead. Antoine Johnson heads to the hoop and gets the basket, and they're back up by 15.
And you
Middle
know,
Tennessee, they were pushed early on.
Yes,
but
they were.
Reggie Upshaw, he's got 16 tonight. His second made three-point basket maintains his Blue Raider lead at home as they look to remain unbeaten in Conference USA, leading by 15 with 7.5 to play. Blue Raiders looking to go to 5-0 in Conference USA as we take a look at our scores. Old Dominion losing for just the second time in conference play. Louisiana Tech with a 75-63 win. They are now 4-1. And how about UTSA It's 57-55 win over FIU, and Marshall reeling a little bit as UAB gets a 94-78 win over Marshall.
Well, UAB is coming on, you know, even though they don't have their true point guard, they're starting to play well. Louisiana Tech goes on the road. Coach Conkle, Louisiana Tech goes on the road and wins. If somebody can knock off Middle Tennessee along the way, this league could get awfully interesting, because there's 3 or 4 teams, you know, that could really make a run.
Obviously, Kermit Davis trying to keep the eye on the prize, looking for his 6th conference championship. So far, they've been able to withstand a couple of pushes early on in the second half. Western Kentucky's got it down to a 9-point deficit a number of times. Middle Tennessee's led by as many as 19. They lead by 15, 7.5 to play. Try to go to 5-0 in conference play. And inside, outside, they've worked it both ways. A blocking foul in the paint on Johnson. As Antwain Johnson's going to go to the free throw line.
You know, I'm looking at, you know, and I guess as an old coach, you look at little things, and I'm looking at the way that Western Kentucky closes out against the ball. Many times the players don't have their hands up, and I'm sure in practice they're taught every day, close out with your hands up. Middle, very rarely do you see them close out with their hands down. And that's the thing about these games, you know. You go back as a coach and as a player, and you watch and you listen to the guys talking, you know, the commentators, and you can learn a lot about yourself and about your team and improve.
Antwain Johnson did play against Marshall. Back on the floor tonight, who's responded with 7 points. Williams and Upshaw leading the way for Middle Tennessee as we see Q Johnson in the corner for 3, looking smooth.
Yes.
Crossed over 1,000 career points against Ohio. And the Washington State graduate.
Watch the hands. Watch the hands. Hands down. You got to have those hands up. Zero, get those hands up. Make them throw over you.
They break the zone inside. Oh, jump ball is the call. They'll call a block inside for Justin Johnson, 6'7". Got in there and got his hands on the ball.
Yeah, if he can get those little puppies moving, he can get up pretty good. And he did a great job here, you know, getting to the ball without fouling. It was clean. Nice job.
Block on Walters. Alternating possession favored Middle Tennessee, and a 3-point look on the outside for Johnson, trying to get in double figures. Williams gets a loose ball inside but can't get the putback, and here comes Western Kentucky pushing the ball in transition, and they're going to foul Justin Johnson. He'll go to the free throw line.
But that was really good. I mean, those are the kinds of plays that you know, Western Kentucky can grow from and learn from and get better from. They had everybody touch that ball that time.
Brennan Walters with his 4th foul.
And if my boy Justin Johnson would stay with his free throw just a little bit longer, extend, you know, we used to make the kids keep your hands up until the ball hits the floor in practice to get that softer shot. This guy should be 80+% free throw shooter, but he's backing away.
He shot 60% from beyond the arc a year ago.
And you can't back away at the free throw line, you know, when you're shooting free throws.
Excuse me, I should say 60% from the field a year ago. But again, he's a guy that's shooting 50% from 3-point range this year.
Right.
And only 58% from the free throw line unguarded. Upshaw kicks it out. Good ball movement again. They find Dixon in the corner, and Dixon, he's got a 3-point basket. That's the 7th made 3-pointer for Middle Tennessee.
Follow through. The way that Dixon and the way that Pancake just followed through on their 3-point shots, exactly the way that Johnson should follow through on his free throws.
Hilltoppers still in it, trailing by 12 with 5:46 to play.
Well, Kermit Davis, right now you're seeing a calm Kermit, but before he sat down, right now you can tell he's not happy. They're up 12, there's 5 minutes to go, but you know what? They're not executing at both ends the way that he wants. And there's one guy in the court that you can usually depend on never, ever being satisfied. You know who that is? That's the coach, and that's why they call him Coach.
Well, the struggle tonight, Middle Tennessee, they're 5.5 minutes away from remaining unbeaten in conference play, but it's been a pesky Western Kentucky team. They really haven't been able to get that separation. They've got it down to a 9-point deficit a couple of times, and I think it's got to be frustrating because they're still in this game.
They are. They really are. But going back to Kermit, I just want to finish up on this. He's going to stay on these guys until there's no time left, because he's not right now probably playing for this game as much as he is for the beginning of the next game.
Final 5.5 for the Murphy Center. Bringing up their coach Mike Jarvis with you. Western Kentucky trailing by 12. Middle Tennessee's led by as many as 19. But Western Kentucky, they've had a much better presence in the second half. As we see a three-point look from the outside, Dixon now has got 14 in the contest. He's had a big night. He's 5 of 6 from the field and 4 of 4 from three-point range.
And you know what? For point guards, you've got to be able to knock down open threes. Not off the dribble, but off the catch. And he's done a great job. He's getting better and better every game. That's just making this team even that much more dangerous.
It's a career high tonight for Dixon. His previous career high was 12 points against VCU. He's got 14 tonight.
He's growing. He's become a man, boy. I'll tell you what, during this season.
It's a freshman that just averages 4 points. So he's plus 10 off his average tonight at home.
And he doesn't miss too many open. And then, of course, when he drives, he's looking to pass.
Gets an outlet from Williams. Upshaw's there to clean it up. He's going to have a chance for a three-point play.
I guess you could call him a garbage man. You could call him a blue-collar worker. But the bottom line is he's always working. He's always going after that ball. Notice, once again, he's always on the weak side when he doesn't have the ball, ready to rebound or tip it in.
He's a board away from a double-double. He's got a three-point play now with 19 points in the game, 9 boards. And it's back to 15.
He heard you talking about the fact that he only had 5 points last game. Dangerous pass.
He gets the steal.
Ooh.
Pushes it ahead. And the big finish belongs to Johnson. He's got the exclamation point.
Coach is saying, get back, get back.
82-65 Blue Raiders, and answer for Western Kentucky. They get the three-point basket, but Middle Tennessee closing in on a perfect 5-0 start. Upshaw gets the steal, and Johnson with a big finish, bringing the Blue Raider fans to their feet at home. Well, Middle Tennessee's 3:52 away from a perfect start in conference play. Don't worry, we got more Conference USA basketball coming your way on ASN next week. Western Kentucky at Marshall at 6, followed by Old Dominion in Charlotte at 8 o'clock Eastern. Wrapping up your Saturday of basketball a week from now, and so far some big things for Kermit Davis and Middle Tennessee taking care of business. You got 3 players. It's a big nights, and how about the freshman Dixon stepping up? And that's kind of what they need. You know, you think about Williams, Upshaw. They got Potts that's typically in the top 15, but you got to have a player you think down the stretch that's going to maybe take a little bit of pressure off those big 3, right?
Yes, you do, and he's done a great job. He makes those open threes as point guards are supposed to.
Western Kentucky desperately needs baskets on every possession. They get one there. This jumper by Lamada, rebounded by McGee, who has the foot back.
Yeah, a little trap, a little run and jump action here out of the zone. Stepping up, weak side.
Pressure, steal, the steal and a finish for Q Johnson. He's got 13, and Middle Tennessee wants a timeout. They still have an 11-point lead, but man, those pesky Hilltoppers that remain in this game on the road.
Well, they're now giving Middle Tennessee a little bit their own medicine, and they're becoming a little bit complacent with their passes. Now they're throwing the soft passes, and Western's making them pay for it. Coaches, like Stanbury, you don't have the success that you had, by just wearing nice-looking suits. Yeah, I mean, you work, baby. And guess what? He's going to coach until the last second of this game. It's not over as far as he's concerned.
Middle Tennessee with 2 timeouts remaining. Western Kentucky, they're without a timeout. The final 3:14, so that could be a storyline as well down the stretch if the Hilltoppers are able to make a move.
Well, look for them to trap again. Well, maybe not. Okay, there's the run.
There's the trap. They're able to clear it out.
Trap again.
And wisely, Middle Tennessee just going to hold the basketball and let some time tick away. Up 11 with less than 3 minutes to play. Potts on the floor with 4 fouls, 3 to shoot. They get it inside, and Williams with just 1 second on the shot clock. Not only does he get the basket, but he's going to go to the free throw line.
Yeah. And what you're hoping is that this is nothing. But anytime you can get the ball to the high post, you can then get a chance to go in high-low. And of course, with a guy like Williams or Upshaw down low, you got a chance to get in 3-point play.
They left the Blue Raiders leading scorer all alone. He's got 23 on the night.
Looked like a hit in the thigh. But, there's a nice cure for that. You know what that is? A made free throw. He makes his free throw. I guarantee you he'll be running a lot better. And
the Challenge 2 coach is in Conference USA. These guys just played Thursday night, so it's a real quick turnaround. You play Thursday night, bus obviously the next day, and here you are playing 2 days later. So a lot of basketball in a consolidated 3 days.
Yeah, and for the road team, and that's why it's so tough to win on the road. I mean, you're traveling, you're sleeping in a different bed every night.
A steal for Dixon, who's had a career night. They'll pull it back for the final 2.5. The Blue Raiders looking for their 15th win. And the fans here inside the Murphy Center about to leave happy again. And they get another exclamation point for Williams, who's got 25.
I'm laughing because I'm watching Kermit, and Kermit's saying, hey guys, get back, stop celebrating.
Pancake Thomas, the answer the other way, but it may be too little too late.
Yeah, it is. In all likelihood. I was told never say the game's over. So I'm not going to say it's over. But.
Oh, wow. Dixon to Williams again. A 27-point performance for the redshirt senior from Birmingham, Alabama tonight. And Johnson feeding Johnson the other way for the Hilltoppers.
With 1:20 to go, I don't think I'd be wanting to throw too many more alley-oops to Williams. I wouldn't want to take a chance of maybe somebody coming down under him or him coming down somebody's foot.
I think he's showing you that he's okay with those 2 alley-oops, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Nice patience here.
Upshaw thought about the 3 and then wisely just pulls it back. Final minute of play here inside the Murphy Center. Dixon, why not? A career night, and he adds to it again. He's 5 for 5 beyond the arc.
And he did that one off the dribble. Just showing you he can shoot off the dribble as well as off the catch.
Three in double figures tonight, including Dixon. This is one he'll always remember. The freshman, 6 for 7 from the field, 5 for 5 from three-point range. In Middle Tennessee, they're going to go 5-0 in the conference, 15-3 on the season.
And the next time they play at home, the building will be completely sold out. The students will all be back.
The winningest team in the Volunteer State, winning again tonight at home. 9/10 stand in front of Kermit Davis and win number 5 in the conference.
You always got to, you try to get behind the defense if you're on offense, but anytime Tariq is penetrating, he's looking to pass. And boy, he's a good passer.
Our final tonight inside the Murphy Center. 91-76. Middle Tennessee. They're 15-3. Williams with 27. Dixon with a career-high 17, and Upshaw added 19. Big three changing with Dixon, including his name into the line, but another big night for Kermit Davis and the Blue Raiders.
And you know Kermit is very happy because guess what? Somebody else, other guys now are starting to really contribute. This is going to make this team even more dangerous as they move throughout the schedule.
Another impressive performance tonight for Middle Tennessee and Kermit Davis in his 15th season. They're putting together something special in Murfreesboro.
Yes, I think they already have, but this is maybe going to be the exclamation point on that special. And, you know, we want to get Williams in the locker room, get ice on him right away, because guess what? It's not over. Next week we go Thursday, Saturday again.
Big win tonight for Middle Tennessee, 91-76. Let's send it back to our studios. Monica McNutt and Oliver Purnell standing by in our ASN studios.
Thank you, gentlemen. The Blue Raiders managed to remain unscathed in Conference USA conference play with a convincing victory over Western Kentucky. Welcome into the ASN postgame report. Up next, we go to the WAC with conference action. Grand Canyon taking on UTRGV, University of Texas Rio Grande Valley from Edinburgh. We'll get you there next. He's Coach Oliver Purnell, our basketball analyst. I'm Monica McNutt. Coach, our Conference USA game, Middle Tennessee, 3 guys comfortably in double figures, showing off down the stretch in terms of their athleticism and ability.
Yeah, it was impressive the way they came out mentally in the second half. Western did what they needed to do, came right at them, cut it to 8 with about 12 minutes to go. Middle stayed poised, and they played hard the entire game, and as a result, they got a big win. Upshaw was big for them in the second half. Dixon was big. This is a deep basketball team.
Tyrick Dixon, you mentioned, Reggie Upshaw, Ja'Cory Williams, core guys that had a great game. I would take that core, not to mention Giddy Potts necessarily didn't go off. This team could be very, very dangerous. In other Conference USA action, right here on the American Sports Network, earlier today, we had Louisiana Tech taking on Old Dominion in Norfolk. Zoran Talley for the Monarchs getting it done. Gets this ball to fall off the glass. He had 22 points for Jeff Jones' squad.
Well, this Louisiana Tech team is very good, and you know you see them sharing the basketball. They're a great defensive team, but they're also a very good offensive team.
Daquan Bracey that time finding Omar Sherman for the dunk. Bracey had 21 points, and this is not deja vu, folks. This is yet another Bracey to Sherman connection. Sherman rocking the rim. Bulldogs get the win on the road. Final score 75-63. Other Conference USA scores, Coach, we take a look at Marshall falling to UAB. UAB is a team that I feel like folks should be talking about in this conference.
Yeah, it seems that everybody's forgetting about this team that was a perennial favorite for a few years, and it looks like they've got another good ball club to me. Tough one for Florida International. They continue to struggle, losing at UT Arlington. Southern Miss, Charlotte, good game going on there. Both of those teams need to get something going.
Charlotte, indeed, one of those teams that you got to keep an eye on in Conference USA. We jump over to the ACC. Jeff Capel filling in for Coach K. You all know he had the back surgery, needs time to recover. All right, second half, guys. This is the play that everybody's talking about. Grayson Allen goes down. He's tied up with Quentin Snyder. VJ King winds up with the ball. He gets the layup to fall. Louisville showing some defense. Duke a little bit rattled here. Quentin Snyder comes up with the ball. Ray Spalding this time for the layup. Pivotal moment in this game for the Cardinals, just because, they were in a dogfight with Duke, essentially, Coach.
Looks like the pressure defense really, told the tale of the tape there. They got some critical steals, as you mentioned. There you see the intensity level that Louisville had attacking the offensive glass. It was a big game for them. They started out 0-2, and now they even their slate in league.
Louisville gets the win. Anas Mahmoud, the guy you saw score there, double-double for him, 17 points, 11 rebounds. ACC action continues. Tar Heel, the powder blue, taking on the Seminoles of Florida State. Justin Jackson. You got to find that man. Circle him on your scouting report. Don't lose him on the floor.
Well, not only can he shoot the three, as we know, and there you see Joel Berry knocking one down. He's the other half of that dynamic duel. Jackson can also get the ball in the paint, but Florida State's a tough out. This is one of the top teams in the league, and there you see them in transition.
PJ Savoy there letting some defense turn into offense. Look, coming off the screen, turn screen, peep the rim, as the coach used to say, couple dribbles, little ball control, body control, bucket for yet again Justin Jackson.
Well, he's just getting better and better, and there you see him going inside, and they've got a host of bigs that are playing well inside. Great inside-out action by the North Carolina Tar Heels.
13-point win for them there. Looking good. ACC is just super competitive. Another competitive league, the WAC, coming up next right here on ASN. The Lopez of Grand Canyon taking on the Vaqueros of Rio Grande Valley. Should be a good one. Both of these teams in similar position when you look at the WAC conference standings. It's that time of year, Coach. You got to vie for your spot.
Well, you really do. This is going to be a competitive ball game. You're going to look at one team that's very high scoring. When you look at Rio Grande Valley, the other team's got a dynamic guard who can light it up. So it's going to be an interesting ball game.
When you get into conference play, and this applies to our next game, but just in general, is there a style of play that tends to give you the most longevity trying to make it through?
No, it's tough to say. It's do you sustain your style? Do you stay with it? Do you enforce your will on the other team with your style? That's the big key.
And I think when folks look at conference play, we obviously love conference play as basketball fans, but road wins are tough to come by, Coach.
No, you're absolutely right. Anytime you go out and get a road win, that's big in conference because usually it's a home-and-home situation, and if you're going to win more games at home, if you can split on the road, you're usually going to be in pretty good shape.
Protect home, split on the road. That is the advice from our college basketball analyst, Oliver Purnell. That's going to do it for the wrap-up.